I am pleased with the response to Chapter 5. Many friends have told me that they loved it, and some people even cried a bit. Everyone's experiences may vary, but if the game resonated deeply with a few players, I feel confident that I'm moving in the right direction. Hey everyone. The Deltarune Chapter 5 Summer newsletter just dropped and gave us a bunch of information about Chapter 6, and I'm really scared for the future of Deltarune. This video is far lower effort than my honest criticism, but I suppose this can serve as a part 2 in a way. So let's just get right into it. No overly dramatic intros this time, no theatrics, I'm just talking. So, first of all, Toby says that he feels confident in continuing to move in the direction that Chapter 5 was going in, as in the same Chapter 5 which I spent 2 hours deconstructing and criticizing for being the exact wrong direction. I really shouldn't need to explain how hard of a gut punch this is to hear for me, and how disheartening it is, so we'll just skip this one. Go and watch my Chapter 5 review if you're interested in more details as to why I really hate this and think it's a bad sign that Toby is going to keep going in the direction that Chapter 5 started walking in. Chapter 6 is going to be a shorter, straightforward chapter that focuses on one aspect of the story. Because of that, many things are still not touched on here. In fact, it may surprise you what's missing. But one thing will be clarified, whether you're ready or not. Are we serious? One of my issues with Chapter 5 was just how little time we had left. We're still stuck on this vague posting about that day, despite the fact that we do not have the time left for this. We have 2 chapters, but now we know that not only will this chapter be a quote-unquote shorter chapter, it will only actually reveal one thing about the story, and everything else will be ignored. So I guess that means that absolutely every mystery, such as the following... What is Fred? What's going on with Gasta? December holiday. What happened to December holiday? Carol's link to the night's plot. What that plot actually is. Carol's link to the soul. Does she know about the soul? The vessel. How did the soul enter Chris's life? Was Chris possessed beforehand? Why is there a save file in the dark world from Chris himself, even if you just bought the game and have never played it before? How do other people tie into the night's plot? For example, people with code. What is Ralsei? Who is Ralsei? Azrael. The shelter. That day, which is a new mystery that the chapter opened. We can't be going up and opening... Will be shoehorned into Chapter 7. This is going to murder the pacing. Oh, but apparently Toby heard me just now, because the next part is as follows. Some of you may say, wait, you need to make the chapters longer, not shorter. That's an extremely reasonable concern, but by the end of Chapter 7, I am confident that you will understand why I feel confident about the way I'm telling the story. Don't worry about the pacing until it's over. To which I say, that's insane. He basically just said, trust me bro, which I can understand why that might be reassuring to some people. Toby is the creator, and he's had this cooking in the background since like 2012 as far as we know, but I personally don't buy this. I draw back around to my comment in my review about how Toby, despite being an amazing writer, is still a human being. I don't realistically see him being able to tackle absolutely everything, like Friend, Gasta, Des, Azrael, the Forgotten Man, the person stuck in the code, Everyman, etc., within one chapter, maybe taking off like one of those things, with Chapter 6 being a quote-unquote big reveal chapter for just one thing. Something Asgore fight, or fucking driving in my car. Look, I've made several comments about this under my review, but it's recently come to my attention that the whole bait-and-switch tangent I went on for that fight, and basically the entire review being about that, is null and void because you actually can't deny that Asgore is the Flower Man. In Chapter 4, the exact same chapter, which started this entire thing by making a prophecy panel of Asgore which tells us we'll fight him, the Ice Wolf later says something along the lines of, Maya made Ice Wolf buy flowers, nice business for Flower Man, or something like that. So, Asgore's title is the Flower Man. In that same chapter, he is shown to have a quote-unquote black shard, which is almost certainly a shadow crystal. I mean, what else could it be? The prophecy tells us that the Flower Man is a boss, and then the game tells us that Asgore is the Flower Man. In other words, the game is telling us that Asgore is going to be the final boss or secret boss in Chapter 5, and then it doesn't happen. The unbreakable prophecy, which the entire game centers around, and absolutely everything else in the prophecy up until this point has happened in some way, shape, or form, it just doesn't come true in this one instance, I guess. I guess Wingding just was asleep when he was supposed to make this happen, so it just didn't. So how does this tie into the video? You know how I said earlier that Toby basically just said, "Trust me, bro," with this? My response to that is that I don't trust you, bro. Look, I'm sorry, but this massive plot point, which was built up ever since Chapter 1, with Asgore being this massive question mark with what he actually did, who he hurt, how he hurt them, what that actually did to everyone else around that person, etc., it basically ended up going nowhere. It's not even like we got an explanation for the Asgore plotline without the fight, because watch my review. Nothing happens. This plot of Asgore has been built towards since like 2018, and it just doesn't go anywhere, and the game never gives a reason for that being being the way that things went, or even like acknowledging that it's the way things went. How am I supposed to be coming off of the back of that and honest to God have faith that Chapter 7 will answer everything and all will end perfectly? I don't buy it. I don't buy it, because what if, like, Friend, for example, gets this exact same treatment? What if he's just not acknowledged? What if he genuinely just doesn't appear, and the game never gives a reason or like anything that he was, or they were, sorry, we don't know if it's a dude. Or like, the same thing could be said for Des. What if she's just never revealed? What if what happened to her is just always forever going to be that day? I don't buy it. I don't trust him. And I'm adding this on without the script. I'm just throwing this out there because, I had a thought about it. I've seen a lot of people coping for the Asgore fight by saying, like, "Oh, we missed Chapter 5, we weren't aiming for Chapter 5, and while I really, really do want to believe that there is still a chance that we will fight Asgore and Deltarune at some point, I don't believe that, because the Knight took him away. He's effectively out of the story. If his presence in the story after being kidnapped is anything like Undyne's presence in the story after being kidnapped, it's going to be literally nothing. He's just gone for the foreseeable future, and I really, really don't see an Asgore fight making sense anywhere in the story except for Chapter 5. We missed the window of opportunity. It's not happening anymore. And that sucks, because the game told us it would. Multiple times. This really stings. Maybe I'm too much of a Deltarune doomer after Chapter 6, but I really don't have faith. I really want to, but with Toby outright saying that he's now confident in going with the direction that Chapter 5 was going in, something I had 2 hours worth of criticism towards, and the confirmation that we are in fact going to need to listen to the defense of, "Bro, just be patient, we literally have like 1 chapter left, that's plenty of time," I don't know. I do not have that much faith at all in the direction that Deltarune is going. And that really, really, really fucking sucks. Because I still love this game. And I want to see it do better. But Toby basically said that it's going to keep making... He didn't say it's going to keep making the same mistakes that Chapter 5 made, but if it follows the same direction, there's a very, very high chance that it will make those mistakes. And that's why I just don't have any faith anymore. But, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just being impatient and Toby will still clutch up and save the day or whatever. I just really don't know how much I believe that to be possible. Anyways, this is just a really quick, scatterbrained response to the newsletter after I found out that it came out, so that's it. See ya.